Supreme. Now, here we go, my people. I used this video about 2 years ago, but it's nothing like going in the past to show the present, especially at this particular time and moment. Now, here we are. There is a biologist, a geneticist. It's a biologist and a geneticist here, and they're being interviewed, and they're speaking about splicing genetics. And like I stated to you before, so-called black people, we have a coating. Neuromelanin coats our skin, not just our cells. It coats our entire body. So you can't splice into our cells and alter the genetic information. You can't do that because we feel in this, we ourselves feel the cells. So in our cells, and these are called midichlorians. You can look this up, midichlorians. In our cells is light, and that's us filling up the cells, and that's genetic information. Now, here's the deal. Well, all other races of people, meaning the complex cell organism, that's not the case. Whenever you use ultraviolet light to splice DNA, to take DNA out and put DNA in, you can do that with them because they don't have that coating. They don't have that protection barrier. With us, we have that protection barrier. This is why you ask them any question. You ask them, any one of them, the question, why is your skin different from mine? Not only is your skin pink, but your skin doesn't even feel like mine's. Why is that? That's the number one question. Why is that? Your hair follicles, the way your phenotype is, the way you shape, the way you walk, you understand, your spinal cord, all of these things plays a role, and you can search all of these things back into nature, all of them, with the animal DNA that they share. Now, you can't call this racist, you can't call this hatred, because this is coming from their own mouth. So when you have one or two of these people, or three or four of these pale people want to come onto my channel and say that it's not about race, you're absolutely right. It's not about race. It's about genetics. It's not about skin color. It's about genetics. You see, because genetics makes up your phenotype, eye placement, nose, organs, everything, the way you walk, everything is in your DNA. And this here is a prime example. And when I'm trying to tell you, black people DNA cannot be altered. We cannot change our DNA. What happens is, only thing they do is weaken our vessels, our autoimmune system, to make us more acceptable to viruses and diseases. These are called antigens, and these antigens attach themselves to the outer wall, to the outer layer of our cells. And these antigens stick to our cells because we are still being vaccinated and also be eating the same foods or animals that we were raped by. Think about that. These people have chicken DNA, cow DNA, pig DNA, fish DNA, and all of those animals, they have us eating in our household. So the antigens that they have already put in our blood through raping and abuse, we're multiplying that by continuing to eat the same products or foods or animals that literally raped us. So now here we go right here. You can call them racist. Don't call me racist. Call them racist, because they're telling that they're saying it out of their own mouth. Here we go.
Do you want to explain the special about melanin and how it protects the cell, the DNA inside the nucleus? That's very important.
Part of the reason you can't do these experiments, where there's a lot of melanin around. The melanin actually in a lot of people, in black people, it's actually spread out through the skin. It spreads out through the cells and covers everything from the actions of the ultraviolet light.
There's no doubt in people with higher melanin, natural higher melanin, that it's far more likely that that melanin will be coating the nucleus, the cell wall of the nucleus of the DNA. Now, the point about that is that ultraviolet light, which is often used to splice DNA, is blocked by that melanin. It absorbs it. It doesn't allow it in to interfere with the DNA. And it could well be, and this is Nigel's thesis, that this was a blocker for them when they were trying to genetically alter the species. And therefore, when maybe just out of random mutation, something like an albino came along, they discovered, wow, we can get straight in.
Right.
And it may well be that the paler-skinned nation, people on the earth, have that pale skin because of this genetic experimentation to make things easier for them to work on human DNA. And in fact, Professor Steve Jones argues that this thing about vitamin D being, paler skin being there to allow vitamin D to be absorbed and so on. Do you want to explain the special about?
Yeah, so they was trying to kick, this professor was trying to kick a thesis to say, or a hypothesis to say that the pale skin is designed so it can let more ultraviolet light in. That's completely false. Anything that's white refracts sunlight. It doesn't absorb it. It pushes it away. So with us, we actually eat the sun. So the more ultraviolet light that comes in, the more healthier we are, the better our red blood cells become more healthier. The amino acids, our cell structure, our integrity of the cell, everything becomes better with more sunlight. With them, it's completely different because they are refracting. Anything that's white refracts sunlight. It doesn't absorb sunlight. And with us, you cannot cut into our DNA with anything that they're using because they need ultraviolet light to do it. They can't cut into our genetics and change it and alter it. And this is scientific facts, my people. This is not racism. This is not hatred. You hear it from their mouths. But again, they want to still be in denial about the truth and call me racist. Let me make this very clear. We are moving in a time, in an era, that all of the lies that you continue to spew about black people being racist for telling the truth about our differences on this astral plane is going to come to light. And it's nothing you can do about it. The more you hold on to the lie, the more painful it's going to be. The same thing when it comes to my people. The more you hold on to religion, the more you hold on to these fake gods or whatever the case may be, the more painful it's going to be. The more you hold on to this world, money, cars, vehicle, materialistic things, the more painful it's going to be. Understand and overstand that regardless if you want to accept that or not. The more you blame it on other people for the choices that you are making in your life, the more depressed you're going to be, the more neuroticism you're going to experience, and the more stress you're going to be. And that's on you. I done said this over and over and over again. We are completely, totally different from everyone on the planet. Everyone. They are not native to this planet. They were genetically modified and they were placed in front of us to do the bidding of something that's still here, that's in the shadows. And now it is running on its last leg because it's losing control. It's losing power. And how do you lose control and power? With truth. That's how. See, there is something on the planet that has more knowledge about you than you remember about you. See, it's not that you don't know this, you just don't remember. It's something on this planet that has more knowledge about you than you are remembering about you. And this is why they keep us away from science. You want to know where we came from? You want to know who we are? Look through science. And I have this last thing to say. What did God, Yahshua, Muhammad, and